You're just like so high up here. Now this home though is going to be different. As you can see, we are already quite elevated just by standing here. Film there. Oh my goodness, this view is just fascinating. Welcome to Namly Crescent. We are standing in this plot which, just now as you enter together with me, it seems like the plot doesn't look really wide in a sense because the front is 12.9 meters, but the moment you enter, I think you're in for a treat because I'm standing on a land plot that's 6,040 over square feet. This kind of home is what we call a home that's taking advantage of a beautiful, majestic terrain right towards the hilltop part of Namly Crescent. You're also at one of the highest elevated point along this road. And of course, this road right here is quiet, it's serene. Let's have a look at the first one. This plot has a huge land plot positioning in terms of PSF play. And what are the key two fundamental differences? Because some landed properties, they belong to the quantum play category because they have a higher PSF level sitting on a smaller plot of land. However, for this plot in Namly, because of the fact that we're sitting on a huge land plot of 6,049 square feet, you definitely have that room to play around with in future in the next 5 to 10 years. Let's have a look at number 2. The maximum build-up area of this home after feasibility study has a potential to go up to around 14,000 square feet based on site observation as well as taking advantage of the sloping terrain. This gives you the ability to have flexibility on usage of the build-up and design of this home. Third is of course with the majestic hill and awesome unblocked view. With this huge land plot 6049, this is a rare, unique land plot for you to acquire. Fourth point, future potential of this property with costing allows you to be built into a detached status, and there's also a potential to do subdivision subject to authority approval. And of course, last but not least, bigger land plot versus a smaller land plot has better appreciation growth. That's because of the PSF play that we were talking about earlier on. And the moment you tell people that you own a landed home in any part of Namly, they immediately know you own one of the most prestigious addresses. But in D10, when you tell people that live in D10, first important thing is they want to know which part of D10 because there's a couple of regions right here. You have the Tankaki area, which is just one stop from us, along the downtown line. That's of course where Hwa Chong Institution is, Nanyang Girls High School, RGS, as well as of course the entire Hwa Chong boarding area. Just one station downwards, that's Botanic Gardens, that would link you towards the entire Circle Line. You go one more station downwards, that's Stevens, that will bring you towards Orchard Boulevard and Orchard through the Thomson East Coast Line. And of course, this has brought in so much connectivity to the entire Bukit Timah. Let's come back to this land plot. We are at a part that is in the entire two-story semi-detached land plot. It can be converted into a detached status because your width at the front is 12.9, your width at the back, it explodes towards 22.9 meters. One end is 31 odd meters, the other end is about 34 meters. So if you want to convert to a detached, all you need to do is just maintain a setback of 2 meters on left and right flank. That will give you a detached status, but we have already spoken with our builder and architect. Basically, you can potentially build up about 11,000 square feet with 10 bedrooms on level 2 and attic level. And if you want to add on another close to 3,000 square feet by building a basement, you can combine it into a totality of 14,000 square feet. That just simply blows our mind away on how much you can do with this home. For now, let's come back to the front part. You have so much outdoor space, front garden, and most importantly is that this entire plot is elevated. Just standing on level 1, you already flush across your neighbor's landed height, and that gives you so much privacy because anybody that's outside or driving past, they technically cannot see into your home. Right outside, basically dotted lines in the middle, left, right flank can park additional cars. At this point in time, you can only park one car here, but this home has so much potential for either A&A or rebuild, but I'll recommend doing a rebuild because you can take advantage of the huge land plot. And based on our research is that you want to find something above 5,000 square feet in Namly, it is not easy because a lot of semi-D land plots right here, they hover at about 3,500 to maybe about 4,000 square feet. There is actually one unit right down the street, and that is going at about 22 million in terms of of asking price right now. Newly built home. And of course, that land plot is also at about 6,000 odd square feet. That will give you a range of comparison because this home, if you were to own it at about 17 odd million right now, you have a potential to rebuild to that mega build up that you can have. Maybe let's have a quick glimpse of the potential build up that you can go for. In here, at this current juncture, this is a 2-story home with 4 bedrooms upstairs. You have a helper's room, you have a beautiful yard at the back, enclosed kitchen. Of course, the space right now is already fantastic. Huge dining table that's flanking behind me. You have like a play zone right there. Foyer entrance at the center. Living area right towards here. And of course, as we explore the kitchen, current setup is also nicely done with a longish shape. You have an additional portion right here towards your helper's room as well as another additional study room towards there. Your backyard is nicely flush towards the back with a lot of storage area and drawing zoning. You're buying something with a huge land plot, and this is what we call a huge land plot positioning, because that is very different if you're planning to go for a quantum play. This is not technically a quantum play, but this is a PSF play. So let me just distinguish what are the 2 key differences. Now, one strategy that some landed home buyers will want to have is that when they first enter into a landed market, they have to go with the quantum play approach because they want to enter into the space to let the asset appreciate based on asset inflation through the years. So sometimes when a young family first enter into a landed zoning, they will first want to enter into an inter-terrace plot first because they are going for a quantum play, maybe about $5 million, so that after 5 to 8 years, once the inter-terrace appreciates, then they can move on to a semi-D. Now this home belongs to the PSF play because if you want to look at the entire Namly space, you can get properties in the 9, 10, 11, $12 million range, but of course those land plots belong to smaller semi-detached plots, which is probably about 3,000 to 4,000 plus square feet. Now this is vastly different because this is going for a PSF play. So with 6,049 square feet, current asking price is about 17 odd million. You're going for about 2,800 plus PSF compared to a new build right here, which is about 3,000 plus PSF, or maybe a smaller land plot that might belong to a higher PSF level. So this, in terms of PSF play, is fantastic if you're planning for rebuild status and you want to own a huge land plot with the potential to build up even more build up area after a rebuild status. So meantime, we have to take a look at the sloping terrain on how it feels like. We're going to export this part. Later, as we go through the plans we have already conceptualized together with Zach LC, the architect, this is what they call like the majestic slopes. We're going to see how we can take advantage of this sloping terrain to build that mega house, which is like 14,000 square feet. Right now, this current home has this like huge slope up here, and oh my goodness, you can already see deleted from here. This entire land belongs to you as well. You can actually take advantage all the way to your boundary line, 2 meters step back. You can build an entire house to this manner, and most importantly is that if you build towards the back, stretching up to 12 meters in height, you can take advantage of the entire view from here. So I think it's going to be fascinating. We're going to head down, have a look at the plans. Let's go. Alright, so currently this home has 6,049 square feet. The potential number one is that this can be built into a detached. But however, to build a detached, you need to fulfill a few key parameters. First criteria to qualify your home from a semi-D to be made into a detached status is that you must have 10 meters in terms of front width after detachment. And of course, your neighbor must also have at least 10 meters width at the current status. Plus, the second criteria is that your neighbor must at least have 400 square meters in totality. So just based on this criteria, in terms of conversion of your semi-D into a detached after you purchase this home, this qualifies into that 2 criteria, and that's of course a bonus that you can have. Now, second thing is that we want to look at the feasibility study on how we can maximize the build-up area on this particular land plot. Firstly, based on site observation, there's a terrain layering right towards the back of this home, and that is also one of the core reasons why it explodes into 22.9 meters towards the back. So the concept is to maximize the terrain gradient and adopt a creative split level as well as a multi-tier functioning use, something of this approach. Our architect builder came up with a few different mood boards that you can explore. And of course, we're going to share this with you when it comes for the physical viewing. But basically, what's going to happen is that you're going to take advantage of a few key elements. Number one is that you're going to build home something like this to take advantage of that sloping terrain, but that gives you a lot of different layering throughout the home. And it's not just like a flat land, which sometimes can be a little bit more cookie cutter, but this is a little bit different because you're going to have a lot of different kind of functions and usage. You're going to have your full-on level 1 is your main hosting area. Basement level can be your entertainment area or work from home office. You're going to build a lift, and most importantly is that you're going to take advantage of the full 12 meters height control level for a 2-story semi-D home with 2.5 story plus your basement level, and I think it's just going to look fabulous. If we were to look at this, based on the site area of 561.89 square meters, your basement is going to occupy a built-out area of about 243 square meters. First level 444, second level 332. In totality, you're going to have about 14,000 square feet of total built-out space, and you even have two options right here. If you were to build with good development materials at about $400 for level 1, 2 and the attic level, that's going to bring your total rebuild cost of about $4.9 million. If you want to pump in a basement at about $500 per square foot, that's going to go at about $1.31 million. So you can alternate your building costs. You can rebuild this home with $4.9 million, or you can either rebuild this with a basement at about $6.2 million. So you have that two costs plus your land cost at about 17 odd million. So that would then equate the total to about $22 million without a basement and about $23 odd million with a basement, which if we compare to some of the new build asking prices right here along Namly, that makes total sense in the sense that you can have the flexibility to build something majestic, huge, and this is going to be a brand new design that you can have with your own taste and architecture. Now there's a subdivision possibility subject to approval by BC and URA. So basically what has happened was that in the past, our clients have actually sent a subdivision approval for consideration by SLA, and that has been issued in the year 2010. Of course, that means that there's an opportunity for subdivision to be considered as well in future. So meantime, we're going to explore the current home, because in the event, if let's say you don't want to rebuild to a new build status, you can still own it and you can still live in it for the next couple of years while you let the land price appreciate.
I should probably focus on figuring it all out. Mine's a bit of a mess and all I can feel is doubt.
The current setback is actually quite huge because you have like a nice deck pool right here underground, and we just came down from this portion right there to your backyard garden. Currently it's done nicely with a carpet grass at this portion. This is the entryway towards your wet kitchen towards the back. If you were to have a look at the current entire setup, now the facing is direct south in terms of direction. It's so quiet because you can technically just hear the birds. In the meantime, we're gonna head upstairs. So as we come to level 2, I think it's important to understand why some buyers for landed properties, they love to go for bigger land rather than maybe like a smaller land plot. So the first important thing to note is that a bigger land plot like this, for example, at about 6,000 square feet compared to something that's maybe at about 3,000 square feet is vastly different in terms of land PSF appreciation. So take note, when you enter into a landed property, you're buying firstly the land, you're also buying the structure that's sitting on top of the land. Now, if you're going for a land play, and let's say if you're going for $100 PSF appreciation on a year-to-year basis, and let's just give a hypothetical example. Right now we're in 2023. If in 5 years time, in 2028, let's say land PSF appreciates by $100 per square foot averagely per year, and it appreciates by $500 per square foot through the next 5 years. So this is just an estimation assumption to see the key differences between a big land plot and a small land plot. And let's assume that these two land plots in the same address and the same district appreciates in tandem. So what's going to happen is that if you own a 6,000 square feet land, that's going to appreciate by $3 million in the next 5 years, compared to a land plot that's 3,000 square feet, that's going to appreciate by $1.5 million, because every $100 PSF, the key increment is the 600,000 quantum increment versus the 300,000 quantum increment right here. So that is one of the key rationale that landed buyers, if they can't go for a big land plot play, they'll rather go for a big land plot play in the grand scheme of things for land price to appreciate in tandem through the years. As you can see, Jeremy was walking through with our builder the other day, and of course some of the key things that they mentioned was that this construct and architecture was done so well. This was done during about 20 odd years back, and in terms of the solidity, it's fantastic. Parquet, it also looks fantastic, and most importantly that this can still last for many years to come. So even if you're not planning to rebuild, you just want to stay for the next 5 years, I think your family is going to enjoy the space as well. So meantime, let's have a look at the bedrooms.
Sunrise, reach for the morning. Big stretch, a brand new day. Bright eyes, my heart is soaring. Blue skies, I'm on my way.
Let's have a look at the first room first. Now, usually most landed properties will be overlooking towards another property. Our view on the left is unblocked in the sense that you're not overlooking towards any other homes. And for the very fact that this is on an elevated ground with a breathtaking view, this kind of landed positioning is not easy to attain. So there are two rooms that's facing towards the front. Brightness is fantastic. We're not on any lights right here. And just at the current state, I think it is a beautiful home for your family to occupy. You have a second bedroom that's fronting towards here with a walkout balcony. Right across, of course, on the left and right side, you can see that the land is sloping upwards towards here and the land is sloping upwards towards here. We're right at the apex point of Namly Crescent. Beautiful. You see some of that high rise right there, that's actually Duchess residences. And of course, 6th Avenue MRT is right behind me. And when you come back from 6th Avenue, take note that the entire 6th Avenue road is also linking from Bukit Timah towards Holland. This is one of the connecting road that is so convenient for all the residents staying in Namly. As we walk back, the moment you come upstairs, there's like a family zoning right in the center portion. That's beautiful. There's your common bathroom and third bedroom seated right here. There's flanking towards the front and the side. For those of you who love a little bit of vintage in terms of the landed construction, in terms of the landed architecture, you have an existing pitch roof right here that you can take advantage and appreciate of. And last but not least, master room existingly is really huge. Currently king bed facing towards the back terrain. And take note, after you do a full rebuild, you're not going to be worried about facing towards your neighbor's home, because at the back you have an extremely high retaining wall that you can utilize it and flush it to be like a cascading garden right towards the back. Currently for the master, your own ensuite, but we can't say enough about the full potential that this home can be completed into. Right now, in terms of rebuilding stage, that technically takes you about 18 to 24 months. Of course, for full on rebuild, this can go on to be about 2 years for 14,000 square feet build up with the basement that you are hoping to construct. But I think most importantly, if you can get a good working partner, an architect and builder to work towards your dream home, this can potentially be one of the best homes sitting on Namly Crescent. I think if you want to have a look at this place, give a call to our listing managers. Their numbers are right here down below. And of course, my name is Melvin Lim, PropertyLimBrothers. As always, happy to show the place. I'm going to see you on the next landed home tour with PLB. And meantime, take care. Okay, come, let's start. Okay, let's go. Oh my goodness. And you're just like so high up here. It just looks fantastic. Okay. It's landed home tour, and meantime, that's going to appreciate by 6,000 times 500 is $3 million, okay?